Of Reverend Jesse Jackson. He passed away today at the age of 84. He is a man who was on the front lines of the civil rights movement. So many things. The protege of Martin Luther King Jr. separated after that assassination to do his own thing. A South Carolina native. Went to North Carolina A&T. So many things there. A father. So many things that you could describe. And I've been seeing so much about Reverend Jesse Jackson. I want to bring in Dr. Anthony Davis, president of Livingstone College. Dr. Davis, I kind of stumbled through that intro because it's hard to summarize who and what Reverend Jesse Jackson has accomplished in his life.
Wow, it's amazing. When you think about Jesse Jackson, it was one tag that you didn't add to his long list of accolades, a hero. Jesse Jackson was an American hero. When you think about Jesse Jackson, really being one who was the precursor to a Barack Obama, making a presidential run in 1984, registering voters all over the Deep South, and then coming to the convention with a speech that really critiqued and challenged America.
I saw on social media earlier, and I thought it was well thought out. It was simple. It was, I am somebody was the precursor to Black Lives Matter.
Right.
I am somebody. I remember hearing that growing up. I am somebody. Talk about what he meant to you. And you put it way better than I did. But talk about what Reverend Jackson meant to you.
So he meant a lot to me. And some would say, well, how did he mean a lot to you? You know, I'm 60 years old. But 1984, I'm in the United States Air Force. And, you know, that was during the Reagan years. And I'm on an Air Force base. I'm one of the only African Americans in my career field at that time. And I remember his speech to the Democratic National Convention. And I went to work the next day with a Jackson for President button on. And I was able to recite some of the lines that he said in his speech when he talked about moving from the racial battleground, and then now moving into the socioeconomic battleground. And that was profound because that was in 1984. And now fast forward to 2026 as I lead in a historically Black college and university in the state of North Carolina, I see more clearly now what Dr. Jackson was saying, what Reverend Jesse Jackson was saying when he said, we're not a blanket in America. He said, we're really a quilt woven together by a common fabric. He challenged us. He said, we have diversity in the color of our flag, red, white, and blue. But then he talked about red, brown, yellow, black, and white, all are precious in God's sight. He was talking about what makes up this America that we live in.
I saw an interview, and I haven't read the book yet, but A Dream Deferred is a book by Abby Phillip, the anchor over there at CNN, and it explores Reverend Jackson's political rise. And during the interview, it was implied that he was ahead of his time politically. Do you feel that way too? Because I've been hearing that.
I can't say he was ahead of his time. I believe that there's time and then there's timing. I believe that his timing was right, but it wasn't his time and America wasn't ready to consider an African American to hold the highest office in the free world. But again, I said that he was a precursor to Barack Obama because it was that same convention where we heard from a young senator from Illinois, Barack Obama, where America said, maybe it is time. And then he made a successful run after being a first-time senator. So I'm not going to say he was ahead of his time, but it wasn't the right timing.
You talked about it. You are president of a historically Black college, Reverend Jackson, a proud Aggie. If you go to homecoming, you would bump into to Reverend Jackson. Excuse me, Reverend Jackson. You would bump into Reverend Jackson. He was there. He was always at homecoming there at A&T. To see a figure like that for your students, how do you go about passing on his legacy, teaching to that younger generation, who he was? Because I mean, you're talking about more than 40 years ago when he ran for president. And he's still very active, and I know he dealt with some health challenges, but how do you go about teaching his legacy?
That's really simple. On the campus of Livingstone College, one of the three things that we tell our students on their first day when they arrive to the campus, that if you stay here and apply yourself, three things will happen to you. Number one, you're going to unlock your potential. Number two, unleash your power. Here's the most important lesson that we tell all of our students, that you're going to be able to have your purpose unveiled. And then you'll be able to live your life being a living logo of Livingstone College, resilient, relevant, and always ready. And so when you think about that, although Reverend Jackson was an Aggie, born and bred, he really is showing us or shows us that as long as you can be relevant in today's context, be resilient, being able to bounce back from anything, but always being ready to speak truth to power, that you can make a difference in this world. So I say that Reverend Jesse Jackson was a servant leader. When you think about how he tackled issues that others were unwilling to attack, but he was always a voice for the underserved, the underrepresented, but also the unheard. We're going to miss his voice. We're going to miss his voice in corporate America. Remember, it was Reverend Jackson that really challenged and started the Wall Street Project, that really opened the doors for so many African Americans. And so we're going to miss his voice.
One last question before I get you out of here, Dr. Davis, and you were so, as always, gracious with your time. I do want to ask, what are we not talking about? And I say we, I mean the journalists, the media. What are we not talking about? And what are we getting wrong? And what are the misconceptions when it comes to Reverend Jackson?
Well, I think some of the things that we're getting wrong is that we need to go back and remember some of his teachings. Some thought that they were radical back in 1984, but now in 2026, are they really that radical? Because still in one of the richest nations, one of the wealthiest nations in the world, we still are dealing with those who are unsheltered. We're now dealing with mass incarceration. There are a lot of things that we need to be talking about and shedding light on it. I believe that Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jackson, being a protege of Dr. King, he challenged us to say that darkness and light can't exist together. And I think we need to start shedding our light or shining our light to weed out the darkness that we see in our society today.
Yeah, I remember the 2012 DNC here in Charlotte. He talked about that poverty. He talked about using your right to vote as a gateway. Dr. Davis, as always, thank you for your time, for joining us and talking about the legacy of Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Yes, and I'm glad. And think about this. I'm someone who can talk about healthcare and the challenges and the disparities, being on the other side of a kidney transplant. There's so much more that we can talk about and speak truth to power like Reverend Jackson.
Yes, sir. Dr. Davis, thank you for your time. You have a great day.
You as well. Thank you.